podcast where we believe typology can save the world. I'm Justine Miller.
And I'm Amanda Fulgelson, and today we are discussing the type ESFJ. So just a background on Typecast Heroes, on who we are. This series is a teaser of our 16-episode podcast series that will be coming out sometime in 2020. It will be released by the end of this year. And what that is basically a roundup of the project that we've been working on. So we have this goal of having 100 of each of the 16 personality types interviewed, and then kind of collect the data and release this podcast on honestly a ton of information about each type. So if you're interested in learning more, go back to our very first episode, and it's called Welcome to Typecast Heroes. We also have a update on the project, and it's literally called Project Update. So go watch those two videos to learn a little bit more. And if you're interested in the interview process, just comment below or message us on Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, or Discord, and we will get you scheduled. A little tip that we like to give in the beginning of these episodes is that we wholeheartedly believe that anyone can be anything. So there are a lot of stereotypes around each type, as we all know. Anyone who's been around the MBTI community can attest to that. But there's something that we like to say is you have a default setting, who you are at your core. So remember who you are, really dig deep, and know that as we're going through these examples and explaining these different functions, that you may relate to a few of them because you're human and we all go through experiences that are similar. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to jump the gun and immediately be like, oh, I'm an ESFJ. Just make sure you do your own research, research the functions. We have plenty of videos. Go binge watch. We have one on every single function. And we also have some on all the other types as well. So go check it out, and that's all. Time to get started.
So we're going to jump into the cognitive stack of the ESFJ. So like Amanda said, we don't believe in behavioral stereotypes. Behavioral stereotypes exist for a reason, and they can be a good indicator of certain things. But at the end of the day, a Myers-Briggs code that you are assigned when you take the test does not define you as a human being, and it's not meant to put you in a box. What it's meant to do is to help you understand how your mind works, so you can have a language to describe these mental processes for yourself, so you can take ownership of them and you can differentiate what you're using. And it's also that you can describe these same processes to someone who loves you, so it can open up this communication between the two of you. So having said that, if you don't know what a cognitive stack is, if you don't know what a cognitive function is, like Amanda said, there's a lot of resources on our page that we have for you, and there's also a playlist called Myers-Briggs for Beginners, and it can help you understand the terminology we will be using. So go check out all of those things if you are confused. And also, we're very accessible. I literally spend all day on the computer talking to strangers on the internet. So if you have questions about any of this, reach out. Come talk to me. Okay, so jumping into the cognitive functions. So the very first function in our stack is the hero function, and this is where we have our strengths, this is where we have our confidence, and this is what we usually rely on. It's a pattern of mental processes we usually rely on when we interact with an environment. So for an ESFJ, that is extroverted feeling. Extroverted feeling is primarily concerned with the values and beliefs of all the people around them. So some of the actions you may see an extroverted feeler do, or an ESFJ, they will be trying to understand the people around them, relate to the people around them, take care of the people around them. They want to make sure that their needs are met. So we grew up with an ESFJ. He's one of my best friends. I've known him since I was 6, and Amanda met him a little later, and he's also one of her very dear friends. And he is the best host of all time. He will know, he is so careful about making sure that all of the needs of every single person for every possible outcome or necessity, he makes sure that all of those needs are met. And that is extroverted feeling in action. It's not really checking to see what he thinks. He is very much concerned with how is everybody else going to feel about this party, this event, this work setting, this conversation. He's a very caring orientation, and it's very action oriented.
Yes.
So the way that extroverted feeling shows you that they love you, for instance, is by doing that, by taking care of these things for you. They also are a very good listener when it comes to somebody else, because they want to make sure that they understand that person. They want to understand them. It's part of one of those driving motivations of extroverted feeling. They want to get down to the bottom of what is going on with you. How can I help? How can I fix this? And it is very just, let me focus on others first. So because of this extroverted function, ESFJs can come across as very confident. They can come across as very curious, because, and sometimes even that gets construed as nosy, because they really want to know like all of the details about something that happened. But really it's just because they want to be there for you. They want to care for you. They want to do all of the things that they can to make something, an emotional, traumatic event in particular, they want to help make it as easy as possible for you because they care. One of the patterns I tend to see with ESFJs is because they are so extroverted focused, they tend to not spend enough time on themselves. So they will want to talk about your emotions all day, but when it comes to their own, they don't necessarily want to go there. So that is why we have in our second function, the parent function. So it's called the mother, father, if you, depending on gender, or we just use parent.
Or auxiliary.
Or auxiliary, or second. You hear me say a lot of things.
There's a whole bunch of different ones.
Yes.
Go watch the cognitive stack video.
Or go check out any of our pages and look at our beautiful graphics that Amanda makes that you can like look at to see all of the terminology that is used. So introverted sensing is the second function for the ESFJ. So introverted sensing is when you are running all of the things you are currently perceiving through that lens of everything that you've been through before, everything you've learned about with that object. So what this means is whatever the ESFJ is focused on, they tend to accumulate this sort of compendium of experiences, and then they run their extroverted feeling through that filter. So if they have encountered you and they know something is going on with you, and then they see you again like a couple years later, they tend to remember what those things are that you were going through. And because their extroverted feeling is so action oriented, it happens outside of their minds, they're probably going to ask you and follow up on what's going on with you because they remember it all. They keep it in their minds. This also makes them super capable at work because they remember all of the things that didn't work in the past. So as they get older, they develop this sort of expertise in what have we tried, what didn't work, what works best, and what works best with the interest of our people. They can be very good in sales and marketing because of this, because they keep in mind the collective values of their customer base or of their families if they are a person who's primarily family focused, or of their charities if they're running one. They keep in mind the values of the people they want to help, which is very valuable, to say the least.
Extremely valuable. These are the types of people who will make you feel like you're the only person in the room.
Yeah, our friend is so good at that.
So, I mean, literally, when she was talking about him before being the best host, when he will walk around the space, and it'll be like at his place, but he'll walk around the space, and you just feel like he's solely focused on you right there. But then when you watch him, he does it to everyone. But it doesn't diminish what he just did for you. Like, you love him even more because he does it to everyone else. And so you just love that he's making everyone feel so special. It's seriously, I mean, it's one of the most fascinating and just most like enjoyable things to watch. And he's just someone you just love being around. Like, you just...
He's incredibly successful too. So
Yes.
and also like always been successful, and also throws the best parties of all time. Like, I'm not just talking like teenage parties. I'm talking like these very classy, like fancy white and cheese parties and mansion parties, and just like these.
But even the trashy ones are fun.
They were once upon a time, but super elaborate.
Yes.
So well, like
The detail is like I mean, and again, it's about the people.
Impeccable.
Yes. It's not like the decorations or anything like that. It's like, what would people want? You know, do we care about ribbons and streamers? No. Do we care about the music, the vibe, the feeling, like what it's like to be there and creating this atmosphere for his guests? And it's just incredible. It really is.
So that introverted sensing, it tends to build in this system, again, like we were mentioning, of all of the things that he'd been through before, all of the things that any ESFJ had been through before, and it creates in them a sense of honor and a sense of duty. They're very duty bound. So for their families, they are very loyal and very protective and very caring for them because of that second function. So ESFJs are perceiving bridge types, which means they have two perceiving functions in the middle of their stack, and they can use them almost equally. It just depends on how they use them and when they use them and where they are in their development. So Extroverted Intuition is the third function for an ESFJ, and it's in the child position or girl, boy, child position, or there's Latin words, but I'm not going to say them. I didn't take Latin. So this function tends to be a little immature, a little bratty, a little playful, and a little innocent at the same time. So Extroverted Intuition for an ESFJ in that third function means that they can be very creative and very out of the box. They like to play with ideas. They like to play with possibilities. They like to see where the future can go. Having said that, it also means that their introverted sensing parent comes up and kind of grabs them by the ear and is like, no, we got to focus back on reality. We've got adulting to do. So it's like they can throw these big parties. They can have a lot of fun. They can spend a whole weekend chatting with a friend about all of these possibilities about the future. And then when it comes to Monday, they know what they need to do because they have introverted sensing as their parent. And that's where their should statements come from. I should go to work. I should do all of these things because I have an honor or I have a duty to my family to provide for them. So it's in a balanced ESFJ, this is a very good push-pull perceiving function because it keeps them grounded in reality while also having one foot in imagination land. And that is, when they work together, that can be a very beautiful thing. But it can also be really frustrating for ESFJs, particularly ones who are very extroverted, because they jump from extroverted feeling, which is everybody else's needs, into extroverted intuition, which is all of these possibilities. And they're not really reflecting on who am I, what does this mean to me, what do I think about these things. And so when they do that, they can lose sense of time. They can lose sense of honor. They can lose sense of all of the things that matter so much to them in their introverted sensing function, because extroverted intuition is not really worried about what's real. It's not really worried about what's right in front of you. It's not really concerned with the past, as extroverted intuition exists on its own. So when you're jumping between these functions, it means that you're kind of not really focused on the introspective side of yourself. So it's really important for ESFJs to remember their introverted sensing and to tap into it and to make sure that what they're doing serves a purpose. What they're doing aligns with all of their things before, and they're not just so much living in that extroverted intuition moment, an extroverted feeling moment, to just have fun without forgetting all of their responsibilities. So the last function for an ESFJ, it's their fourth function, and it's the inferior function. And for all people, the inferior function is where our anxieties lie, a lot of our anxieties. It's where our insecurities tend to lie. It's something that we tend to be very defensive about and very protective of if we have not taken the time to develop it and to practice using it. So for the ESFJ, that is introverted thinking. So one of the best and most quick ways to infuriate an ESFJ who has not spent time working on this is to tell them they're illogical. Because introverted thinking is primarily concerned with creating and implementing a personal logical structure. So if an ESFJ has not spent a lot of time introspecting and they are jumping between extroverted feeling and extroverted intuition, they're not really relying on their introverted sensing except for when they get pulled up by their ear when they're feeling compelled to do so, that introverted thinking tends to get kind of pushed to the side. And this can mean that they don't really know what makes sense to them. And that is a dangerous place to be, because when all of the action stops, that means that they have to take a look at themselves, and that can be really, really scary.
Yes.
So it is important for the ESFJ to build up that introverted thinking function. However, do it responsibly, because a fear that can happen for an ESFJ is they can become so obsessed with proving that they're logical, they can actually go like the full other way, and they can get into this kind of grip of, I'm going to prove I'm the most logical person out there, but I'm not really good at using logic, or I'm not very capable at using logic right now, and it's going to be a big mess.
Yeah. So you're going to be focusing all of your energy on something that is not going to end up being a positive experience. And then you're going to, when you look back on it and you've maybe haven't focused so much on your extroverted feeling or your introverted sensing or anything like that, and you're kind of skipping those and going straight to thinking and just trying to push logic and trying to prove yourself or trying to prove a point, and you skip over all those other ones, it's going to be one of those moments where you kind of look back at like, oh no,
what was I doing?
What did I just do? Yeah.
Don't do that. Be very careful. So the role of society is to stop putting them in those boxes and those stereotypical places of they are just good being in the supportive roles. However, if your ESFJ wants to be in the supportive role and they're perfectly happy and satisfied being there, then that is valid as well. ESFJ, I'm not trying to force any ESFJ to be anything they don't want to be. I'm just saying the ESFJs have more options than are currently considered their thing on the MBTI community or what the MBTI tells you the ESFJ should be doing. No.
Yeah, you're not set in a box. Even if that box fits for you and works for you, then that is wonderful and that is great, and go do it and do it like the bad that you are. But
Mitch,
you are
that.
But you are not those are not your only options. You're not stuck in this box. So you have every option to literally be anything.
Mm-hmm.
So you just have to run with it. You just got to go after it. But again, if you want to be one of the, like, if you want to take part in something that is a stereotype for your type, don't not do it just because a lot of people of your type do it. Don't rebel against it.
And that it goes into the role in society. ESFJs can be great parents, can be great stay-at-home parents. They can be good administrators, teachers. I work with a lot of them throughout my own vocations.
Mm-hmm.
I've worked with many ESFJs. They can also be very good at business. They can be good at running a business or having a supportive role in a business. Wherever they end up, they can be very good and capable at doing it. So ESFJs, do not just limit yourself to any certain type of box that you feel like, just like Amanda said, you feel like you should be in, because you have a lot of options for you. So another thing you roll in society, you need to take care of yourselves, because you can get burned out so quickly. And one of the dangers of extroverted feeling, as many gifts as it brings, something that can happen is if an ESFJ is constantly doing for others over and over and over again, and it isn't getting acknowledged. Extroverted feeling requires that verbal affirmation. And so if it's not getting, and it doesn't have to be, I'm not saying ESFJs are craving it. Do not come at me on that one. What I'm saying is that they can do 1,000 things for you. And if you just say one thank you to those 1,000 things, it makes the 999 worth it. But they do need that from time to time. They need somebody to say thank you. They need somebody to say it's okay to go and do your own thing for a while. It's okay to go take care of yourself. It's okay to take a bubble bath and not do all of the things for everybody all of the time. And occasionally extroverted feelers like ESFJs do need to talk out their emotions. So if you are close to one and they're giving you the opportunity and the privilege of knowing what's going on in their internal world, then I would probably listen. Probably wouldn't be dismissive.
It's really hard for them because that to them can sometimes feel selfish because it's not about other people. So it's not that they're putting on this like fakeness, this fake niceness or anything like that, that they they just want to be the person who cares for everyone or anything like that. That's truly who they are, and it's just natural to them. Like, they will constantly lean into that. But anybody will get burnt out without some sort of validation. It doesn't matter. It's not that they need to hear constantly thank you. They're not doing it to hear thank you. That's not why they're doing it. So please don't read it that way or hear it that way from us. But any external function needs some sort of external validation. And we'll go into that on other videos later. But it's completely true. And so for extroverted feeling, it literally could be just that one thank you, or someone noticing them and saying, go take care of yourself, and that it's okay. Or literally just being a listening ear, like Jessie said, like just being there, not trying to fix it for them because it's not what they're looking for. They just want someone to hear what's inside their mind. And it really is such a privilege. Like, you kind of know you've made it with them when they will share.
The inner circle,
yes,
the inner sanctum.
Exactly.
Because being human is hard.
This will hopefully make it just a little bit easier.
Thank you for watching our video. So if you know any ESFJs or if you love them, send them this way, please.
Yes. Like, comment, subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, please subscribe. We would really appreciate it. And then you'll get notifications anytime we post a new awesome video, which we've got
so many
years planned already. So there's lots of goodness to come, and we just appreciate you guys being on this journey with us. And again, if you want to know more about the project and about Typecast Heroes in general, you can go watch those 2 videos, Welcome to Typecast Heroes and the project update, where we spill all of our emotions and all of our love and sappiness.
That was progress. I didn't roll my eyes.
Yes! Look at you!
I know. I didn't. I've been working on it so hard.
So good. So good. If I blow a kiss, then will you roll your eyes? She's trying so hard. It's like her eyes are trying.
Oh Lord, give me strength. It's a process, guys. It is a journey. We all have areas of growth, and that is one of mine. But I'm working on it.
And I love her anyways. Love
Yes.
her for all of the goodness and all of the fun times. Thank you so much. Love you.
Bye.
Bye.
Let's gather around the type fire and sing our type fire song. Our MBTITYPOLOGY song. And if you feel uncomfortable, then know there's nothing wrong.